Have I just been playing way too much Fallout, or is this actually a thing people want to see? Back again, and today we are abusing the heck out of this brass wire mail some more. In the last video, we did a few historical weapons against this just to see how it would perform, and it held up actually respectably well when compared to cheaper chain mail that you can find online. Now, I made this out of curiosity to see if wire mail would be as effective as chain mail, and it seems it's effective at stopping slashes for the most part, but penetrative attacks, it gets defeated by pretty much anything. So I figured I'd test a few more things against it and see what we come up with. I decided to pull out the Apocalypse weapons to test against this. We have our Apocalypse Gladius, a French nail World War I trench knife kind of deal, made out of some rebar. We've got a railroad spike punch dagger, some rebar throwing knives, a little claw hammer turned into a throwing tomahawk, and a wrench turned into a spike tomahawk. We're also going to be seeing if the 60-pound crossbow's got enough punch to get these needle darts to stick, or maybe even the big old bodkin that we did in the last video out of that 100-pound short bow. And I also want to see how much of a difference a 60-pound crossbow to a 100-pound short bow actually is in terms of power when it comes to what it can do to this armor. Without further ado, let's get to smashing things. Let's start off with our rebar throwing knives. These are not sharpened, they're just very pointy. So let's see what we can do. That one was pretty stuck in there. And they did penetrate the cloth. Both of them about that far. I'm not the best at throwing knives, so I was only throwing at about 15 feet, something like that, 10, 15 feet. But I still managed to stick to, and they penetrated. So definitely not going to stop you from a throwing knife actually giving you a poke. We've got our 60-pound crossbow, and we're going to try out our needle darts from 15 yards, the same distance we were shooting the 100-pound warbow. See what these darts can do, if anything, to this armor. So it is poking little holes in the cloth, but it's just bouncing out as soon as the wood hits the mail itself. So it's not exactly doing the most damage. It'll still poke you, but like the throwing knives, not very effective. Let's try something we know is effective. So that was pretty underwhelming out of the 60-pound crossbow. It did punch a hole in the fabric and go about that far into the mail, but it just lost all of its momentum as soon as it got tangled up in the mail. Definitely way more effective out of that 100-pound bow from the last video. While we're on the theme of throwing weapons, let's throw the tomahawk and see how it does. It hit right here, and one of those claws on the top managed to cut a nice slit, and it also broke one of our little links free. So that tooth would have got you, but wouldn't have done much. Let's try giving it a good old whack with the tomahawk, shall we? Made a nice bend and bit into the mail a little bit, but no penetration. Now let's try our wrench tomahawk, see if we've got any better luck with that. It's a thinner profile on the edge. We managed to cut a little bit of the fabric, and it definitely pulled those chains more to the side, but no penetration. I do know for a fact, though, that spike will go right through the mail. As what spikes are known for. Now here's an interesting question. Will the punch dagger punch through? My money says yes. No. Mangled it up pretty good. Let's try it again. Nope. It's stopping it. The very point is cutting into the fabric, but that mail's stopping this from getting in through and getting to the actual target. And it's bending the mail pretty good when it hits, but not actually penetrating. Got our French nail rebar trench knife. Let's give it a slash and see if we can get any kind of damage on this mail. Looks like we kind of just dragged the chains over and crumpled them up in a couple of spots across where that blade went, but no actual damage to the fabric underneath. Now let's give it a poke, see how well this does with that fine downswept kind of point. Well, that would not be a very good day. Went all the way through, both sides, cut right through the fabric, and opened up a wicked hole in that metal. Actually cut one of the links and broke through pretty well. Now for the thing I know you were all waiting for, this toothy gladius blade. Let's give it a slash and see if these hooks have any added value to our cut against this metal. Wow, that actually broke 4 links and ripped a good chunk open right through here. There's a nice little gap in the mail there now, and it crumbled up the rest of it. So it looks like those hooks did a really good job grabbing that mail and ripping into it. Now let's see if this spear point does anything well in terms of stabbing. Looks like it got hung up on the other side there. It made it through all the layers except the last side of the chainmail. And it bent some of those links nice and open. Punched a nice hole in the cloth all the way through. I can definitely say without a doubt this mail shirt would definitely help save you from the slashes, but any sort of thrusting implement with any kind of a fine point is going to find its way right through there, and it's going to hurt. So this is more of a slash resistant mail than anything. When you consider that a lot of sword fighting was getting slashed, I think this would have been half decent. It would have been decent for a late Bronze Age to early medieval soldier in terms of just protecting you from getting slashed with some of the weapons, because we've tested quite a few different swords, knives, all kinds of stuff on it. It would even stop certain types of broad arrowheads at closer ranges. So that's pretty impressive to me. Well, now that we've most of the way destroyed both sides of this mail, let's all the way destroy it. Get you guys some nice slow-mo footage of us just going ham on this with different stuff. So as you can see, our mail is just absolutely beat to crap on both sides. I do have to say though, it would definitely protect you from like slashes, but the impact and piercing, this thing would not protect you at all. If you guys didn't already see part 1 go up, check that out. That is using some more historical weapons to demonstrate, you know, the differences between how the historical weapons would function against this type of mail versus these Mad Max, Apocalypse, you know, Fallout style weaponry. That does it for today's video. If you guys like what you've seen, do me a favor, do that thing right there. And until next time, God bless, stay sharp out there. If you're looking for a custom sharp object, check out the Etsy store. Link will be at the end of the video.